So, you're getting a divorce or you're considering getting a divorce in Wisconsin. Today, I'm going to walk you through the three things you must consider when selling divorce property in Wisconsin. Now, before I get into this, I just want to preface that I am not an attorney and I am not a tax professional, but I'm going to give you, my undivided knowledge and undivided opinion on this. Uh, but I encourage you to speak to a professional. Let's get into it. Starting at number one, we need to determine ownership. In the state of Wisconsin, to sell marital property, both each spouse need to sign the deed, the offer to purchase, or a listing agreement to sell the property. So unless we have consent and permission from both sides, it can't be done. And what's critical in this step is communication, either between both spouses if they're on good terms, or between the spouse, the lawyer, and the spouse, or whatever other arrangement you have through the courts. We need to understand whose property it is and who has the permission to sell it. Possibly you're waiting for a divorce decree from the court, and at that point, you also might have to wait for that as well. Number two, deciding on the strategy to sell your property. Now, here you have many options, and maybe you don't want to sell the property. Maybe you want to keep it for the family and all the memories that you've created there. You do have options. The first one I want to talk about is a buyout. Maybe you and your spouse can come to an agreement on what the house is worth, maybe from a third party appraiser, and you give half of the value in either assets or money to the spouse, and then you can keep the house. Another option may be a deferred sale, where you pick a later date, maybe like when your kids graduate high school, that you could eventually sell the property and distribute the proceeds. This can get a little sticky sometimes because your name still may be on the title, and if they miss a payment, it could hurt your credit. So it's something to consider. Next, maybe you want to refinance the property, possibly refinance into a new mortgage and take the old spouse off of the original mortgage. You're going to get new loan terms, and as long as your income can support the, price and the payment, which typically lenders like to see 30% of your income, maybe maximum, going towards the mortgage, that is an option. Now, if you're looking to sell the property, you may want to hire a realtor. And when you hire a realtor, it may just take a little bit longer, but it is a way to get maybe more money. Uh, in that sense, if a realtor were asked you to make some repairs, you're going to want to note that and make sure if you're hiring any contractors or making any repairs, you're submitting that documentation to the lawyer so that each side is paying a fair amount. Lastly, you could sell the property to a cash buyer and they wouldn't make you do any repairs, any cleaning up, but this may be for less money, but it also will be your quickest solution. You can sell it as is, no commissions, no closing costs. And finally, number three, the bottom line, what it all comes down to. What it comes down to is what is best for you and your family. Maybe you want to stay in the house. Maybe this is the place where you want to keep raising your kids. Well, then find a way to keep it. Refinance, buy out the other spouse, maybe trade assets. But if you're having a very tough divorce, very ugly divorce, maybe you want to just sell the house as is for cash. Things to consider when selling your house are the tax implications. Now, again, I would encourage you to talk to your accountant. But when you file jointly, any capital gain that you make on the property up to $500,000 filed jointly, you don't have to pay any capital gain tax on. Versus when you're filing, single, there is only a $250,000 cap to that. So when selling the property, things could get a little bit more hairy. And I would, again, encourage you to talk to your accountant. Now, these are the three things that you must consider when you're selling divorce property. If you have any more questions, please reach out to us at youreasycashbuyer.com or call us at 715-303-SELL. Thank you. Have a great day.